Meghan Markle believed royal courtiers hatched a conspiracy to shame her. She believed that there was a conspiracy hatched against her by royals once she moved into Kensington Palace during her courtship with Prince Harry. Markle, 38, allegedly, she's probably 42, began to fear the palace's courtiers were out to harm her reputation due to her American style of management once the couple moved into Frogmore Cottage. Well, she was texting her assistants at 4 and 5 a.m. pretty consistently, which that kind of work ethic is admirable, but could really get on people's nerves. She was convinced, and everyone quit all around her. She was convinced there was a conspiracy against her, and so she basically put herself in self-isolation when they moved to Frogmore. I think she felt like an outsider from the start. This wasn't the life she was used to, and she wanted out. It's not surprising she would feel like an outsider. You have to fit in, and you have to join the tribe, and you have to figure out where your place is in the tribe, and you have to get along with people. She didn't do those things. She was the squeaky wheel. She also began to feel isolated and missed her mom and friends in LA. She hadn't lived in LA for a long time. She was living in Canada prior to this, and shacking up with Corey Vitiello, the famous chef. One friend told the Sunday Times that Meghan's financial independence was a driving force behind her and Harry's decision to leave the royals and flee the UK for sunny California. That sounds like poppycock to me. By marrying Harry, she became one of the wealthiest, most influential people in the world. And so that's not enough. Now you want to earn your own income? They go on. One of the things Meghan struggled with was not earning an income, said a friend. She's always worked, and I think she felt unfulfilled. Having financial freedom was a big part of them wanting to leave. The flip side of this, was there a conspiracy against her? Prince Charles walked her down the aisle. I think he was smitten with her. Meghan spent $1 million in clothes in the first year. She had a $500,000 baby shower. You're not allowed to have baby showers because they're so wealthy. A $500,000 baby shower, flying back and forth to New York in a private jet via Amal Clooney. $53 million spent on the first 2 years for Harry and Meghan. Meghan Markle was invited to Christmas at Sandringham prior to her marriage, and this is a first in royal history. Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. Was there a conspiracy against Meghan in the palace? I like this Joker image. He's holding a playing card. I was going to do a mustache twirler, but I like this image better. So, I mean, did they force Meghan and Harry out, and they were just so unfair? Or did they roll out the red carpet and Meghan just wouldn't fit in? It's so important to spout off about her political ideologies, and wear sleeveless dresses and not conform to the dress code. That is absolutely essential. That's more important than being a royal, apparently. So was there a conspiracy against Meghan in the royal household? Were they really trying to shame her and because there's a lot they could shame her for, and they've been pretty tight-lipped. Let's be honest. Was there a conspiracy against Meghan? Oh dear. Got the 10 spades. Oh dear. Oh, this should be an interesting read. Do we see a conspiracy here against Meghan Markle? We see a lot of spades. We see the 10 spades, the king of spades, 4 spades, 7 spades. These are both hidden cards. Okay, so cross, marriage, disaster, and the fox is very selfish. The fox is clever and selfish and is out for her own gain, and moves the pieces around. So she was too selfish in the marriage, She was too much about herself in the marriage, and it was a disaster. 22, 29, 8 hearts, and it transformed the situation. Behind executioner, cut. This can be cutting out of the royal family, leaving cut. And the executioner is very powerful. The two most powerful energies are the executioner and the magi. Very different energies, but the executioner can just decide your fate without consulting anyone else. And that's kind of what happened. They proposed that they would be modern royals, half in, half out. They would earn their own income, do whatever they wanted, but they'd just stay on the royal dole. And the queen said, nope. So that's executioner energy. 3 blackbirds, actions and speaking on the mind. In the outcome, 4 spades, 7 spades, city, crossroads, and ruler. The ruler had to make a decision in front of the whole world about all these secrets. Dead bodies in the coffin, secrets behind the veil. So the crown and the queen, because that's the ruler, needed to make a decision about all this stuff in front of the world. They needed to show strength in front of the world. So was there a conspiracy? There's no sneaky cards here at all. There's selfishness. Okay, so clever in the marriage, destruction. No, it's really very direct action because of, okay, so here's some underhanded things in the world. The crown needed to make a decision about these hidden things. I think, like Archie, that's not been revealed to the world. All the surrogacy and the fake baby bump and all of those shenanigans that went on with Archie, all of that is hidden. And that's not hidden from the Queen, from the Crown, from Will and Kate. And they're just like chewing Tums all the time, wondering, when is this going to blow up? So all those secrets kept from the world forced the Crown into a decision. So she was just too selfish. She was just acting on her own against the interests of the palace. And the palace was like, we just can't have this. This is just cray. We just can't have it. So it was too many secrets, too much independence. It wasn't a conspiracy. It's not taking into account the impact of her decisions on others, and including Harry. She also doesn't take into account the impact of her decisions on Harry. Obviously, why would Harry move to LA? Why would Harry want to go to the acting world in the center of paparazzi, glitz, and glamour? He wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. None of the things that happened have made sense for Harry. And so Harry's got to get out. Run, Forrest, run. Okay, so let's look at the Queen and Meghan Markle. Did the Queen do everything, Queen and Meghan, did the Queen do everything she could to help Meghan adjust? Or not? Or she was just kind of harsh and threw Meghan to the wolves? Let's see. Did the Queen do everything she could to help Meghan adjust? Queen. Meghan. Oh dear. Got the devil. The devil has to show up whenever Meghan's in all of Meghan's readings, just about. Because Meghan was welcomed like a conquering hero. I mean, that huge, ridiculous wedding. What was it? Was it $34 million? Huge. Just crazy. Everything she wanted except that one tiara. That one questionable tiara. She made Kate cry. She was so demanding. She made Kate cry over, the fitting of Charlotte. Did the Queen bend over backwards to help Meghan adjust? Well, let's look at the Queen first. Finger of God, outside circumstances, reacting to outside circumstances, and working everything together. 15, 4 clubs. She is a very fluid person. Okay, nothing is going to get past her that she doesn't deal with or react to appropriately. So as things are happening, she's taking everything into account, all of the outside circumstances, everything as it's happening. She's taking it into account. But she's also obviously a very strong leader. She sets a course and she keeps it, but she's very reactive to things as they're occurring. Okay, but this is entirely red over here. Red is generally quite positive. So she's working with her. Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost working perfectly together. Okay, so she was working with Meghan. Meghan has roses in the middle, sweet appearance, opportunistic and opportunities, 7 and 11, 18, 5 diamonds to advance herself. But she has the devil. And the devil is the worst energy. The devil is selfish. The devil is addicted. The devil has psychological problems maybe. The devil is mean. The devil is cruel. The devil will do anything. So on the surface, she was working with the queen, and this is a fabulous opportunity, and she's like, this is great. Okay, but underneath, there's the devil. So she's going along because it benefits her, but behind all of her actions is devil energy. Selfish, I'm going to get what I want. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets, and no one's going to stand in Meghan's way. No matter how sweet the deal is, $34 million wedding, well, let's demand some more. Let's get this, let's get that, let's throw a fit. So the queen was doing everything, but the queen's not going to be rolled over. You're not going to push the queen around, and that's what this says. But the queen was being very kind and generous. In the underneath, we have butterfly and hand, many people working to transform, many people involved in this beautiful situation and the transformation. Many people. So there was a whole staff of courtiers, and this is what Meghan is alleging. There's a whole staff of people. They're the firm. There's a whole lot of people involved in transforming Meghan into the Duchess of Sussex. Okay, but Meghan was too independent. She was too selfish. She didn't listen. Okay, we saw the very highly trained female bodyguard who was, I forget, she was from Scotland Yard, I think. She was a high-level person from Scotland Yard. And she ended up quitting because it was very clear that Meghan simply wouldn't follow her directions. That woman was in charge of Meghan's safety, and she needs to listen to her direction, and because she's taking care of her. But she wouldn't do it, and she just ended up quitting. And everyone all around Meghan ended up quitting. So the selfishness, the independent me selfishness really hurt Meghan. It wasn't a conspiracy. It's this devil energy, and there were a lot of people pulling for her, and the queen was working with her, but she's not going to be pushed around. The queen is not going to be pushed around. So did Kate. There was a lot of conflict between Meghan and Kate. The rivalry, we saw a lot of this. I read on this a lot. There clearly was a rivalry. They got Kate and Meghan to go to the Wimbledon together, and they showed very nicely. They had them walk to the church. I think that was Christmas, to show unity. They tried everything, but in the end, it didn't really change what was going on underneath, and it seemed very much that there was a rivalry between Meghan and Kate, and Meghan was very jealous of Kate. So did Kate in the end, was Kate trying to push her out? Like, I'm just sick of this. I've had enough. You've been so nasty to me, Meghan. Now you're going to get some of that back. And she just started hitting back. Did Kate try to push her out at the end? Let's see. Kate pushing me. Did Kate just get sick and tired of all the drama? Sick to the back teeth of it, of all the drama, and she was just going to start hitting back. Well, on the surface, we have Magi and home. Manifesting the close relationship, red, very positive, and straight razor, cuts, harms, and decision to manifest a close relationship. 13, 17, 18, 5 diamonds on an ongoing basis. This can just be a decision. This is not necessarily a negative card, it's just a decision. Yeah. So on the surface, she was doing all she could to manifest a close relationship and to show a close relationship. Because the Magi, I find, unfortunately because I am the Magi, but the Magi card can be a little deceptive. You know, it can be more about appearance. You know, it can be like a magician. It can be like sleight of hand, more about appearance than reality. It can be. So they were showing the world, manifesting for the world, this close family, royal family relationship. Underneath, we have a couple of tens. Tens are completion. Heart, good intention, committed to what's best for everybody. But right in the middle is very emotional. So in a reading, I think yesterday, we just got the card for Harry and Meghan are having a very, 10 hearts, very emotional time. They're just fighting, throwing dishes, screaming at each other. So the center of this is overly emotional. Okay, there's reports that Meghan threw tea on somebody. She's screaming at people. She's stomping around the palace. So that's what was kind of going on. On the surface, they're manifesting a very close relationship. You know, girl power, they're like sisters. But Meghan behind the scenes underneath is too emotional. And it's over these problems are manifesting just constantly. Hamster wheel is the same day, same stuff, different day card. Every day it's the same thing, and it's problems, problems, problems. Complaining, 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 problems, problems, problems. So very emotional, and they did their best, but Meghan was just manifesting. She was creating and manifesting too many problems, and it was emotional. And Meghan comes on very emotionally. She's always complaining about being bullied, always complaining of sexism. Those are emotional arguments. Okay, well, how exactly are they sexist to you? Well, I can't point at anything in particular, but it's sort of, it's just everything. Well, that's not a logical argument. Okay, and they're being bigoted to me. Well, how exactly are they being bigoted to you? Well, I can't point at anything. I mean, there's nothing in particular. It's just kind of structural. Well, that's an emotional argument. It's not real. Okay, and people should be, upset and dismissive of arguments like that. Okay, did Meghan Markle feel like an outsider, or did she choose her enemies to undermine and destroy them? Because she really seems to me like somebody who chooses enemies. Like she just targeted Kate and just started going after her to tear Kate down so she could lift herself up. And ironically and strangely, I think she's tearing Harry down to lift herself up. I mean, she's completely, it could be completely unconscious, but she has utterly destroyed Harry as a prince, as a man, his reputation. She has utterly destroyed him. And so she is tearing people down around her. It seems that she is choosing enemies, that by tearing people down, she feels that she's doing better. If they're losing, she's winning. And if she's winning, you're losing. You both can't win. So did Meghan feel like an outsider, or is she just tearing people down? Okay, was Meghan feeling like an outsider or creating enemies and tearing people down? Player, this is the actor-actress role, playing a role, wearing a mask. Man can be a literal man or direct action, very direct, straightforward action, conflict. So 24, 27, cross. Okay, marriage to the man, marriage to Harry. actress, and conflict. Marriage to Harry, conflict with the actress. Okay, did Meghan feel like an outsider? Well, the cast out card is 8 spades. So she's not feeling like an outsider. The actress, the scourge is mirroring the actress. She is feeling, the conflict is with the actress, or direct action. So in the marriage, it was marriage to Harry was a conflict for her. That's so weird. So I think she couldn't adjust. She wasn't adjusting properly. She wasn't adjusting to her marriage to Harry. She kept being the actress, Meghan Markle, and that was a conflict. She needed to be Harry's wife and the Duchess of Sussex and, play her role. So here underneath we have roadblock, yes, and inheritance. The key is the royal family blockage. The key is the blockage in the royal family. 1924, 6 spades. That's a selfishness card. So only wants for themselves. Blockage is only wants for themselves. The key in the royal. The key was that she didn't fit in. She was an outsider. She didn't fit in. Okay, so the question is, did she feel like an outsider? She absolutely did feel like an outsider. She did feel like an outsider. She did feel like an outsider, and that's the problem. And it just created constant problems. She felt like an outsider. So yes, that is true. That's not necessarily anybody's fault that she felt like an outsider, but she definitely felt like an outsider, that's unfortunate. And she was an outsider, and I consistently say that she didn't join the tribe. She didn't find her place in the tribe where she fit in, because she needed to fit in. So she did feel like an outsider. All right, let's review what we have here. Was there a conspiracy against Meghan? No, she was too selfish. And there were all these problems and hidden things. All that, just that stuff with Archie. If I was a member of the royal family and I saw all that craziness, the fake bump and the surrogate and all the trouble, just surrounding Archie, wow, I would be absolutely terrified that this would blow up and hit me. And I think that's what they're thinking. And she just came and created so many problems and turmoil, and so much turmoil in the royal family, that they're just like, wow, she's not on our team. That's what happened. It's not a conspiracy. She was way too independent and creating constant problems, and still is constantly creating problems and screaming that it's everyone else's fault. Okay, did the Queen bend over backwards and do everything she could to help Meghan? Absolutely. But she's not a pushover, and she reacts to everything. She was very kind and generous. Look how red this is. And she reacted to everything that was happening. You're not going to push her around, okay? But she was very kind and generous and did everything she could to help Meghan fit in. Meghan played along with it as long as it was beneficial to Meghan, but behind this is the worst card, the devil card, absolute selfishness and just a ruthlessness that will shock anybody. And that's what was going on. And there's just a whole bunch of people involved in the transformation. It wasn't just the Meghan and the Queen. There's a whole bunch of people involved. Whole bunch of people all pushing, doing the Queen's bidding and pushing to help turn Meghan into this beautiful, fabulous, amazing Duchess. Did Kate finally get sick and tired of all the rivalry and start pushing Meghan out? On the surface, absolutely not. They were manifesting this close family. Underneath, too much emotions and constant problems. So I don't see Kate doing anything. I see that there's just too much screaming and emotions and turmoil created by Meghan, and I don't see Kate taking direct action against Meghan. Did Meghan feel like an outsider? Absolutely she did. She never fit in. She never fit in. And I think that's the real issue, is that Meghan just never, she didn't do the things that she needed to do to fit in. And, you know, after she established her place, she could then start to be a bit more controversial and you know, say things, you know, establish the relationship with the royal family, establish the relationship with the public, and then you grow into that role. And she just came right out of the gate, all guns blazing, and never fit in. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author, Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. Many thanks to the generous folks who have bought me a cup of tea. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment.